I'm exploring the Altai Mountains of Mongolia on horseback. Next year I'm going to ride 3,000 miles from the Mexican to the Canadian border with 2 horses. So right now I'm spending 18 days in the far west of Mongolia as a kind of preparation and training for that bigger adventure. So welcome to part 3. Good morning. Right now I'm enjoying my boiled egg in this warm house. But in 30 minutes we leave to the mountains, and from then on out I'll be sleeping in my tent in minus 17. Fjell Raven pants, they are the best outdoor pants in the world. They're expensive, but I love them because they're indestructible. Except when it comes to horse riding. I've really got to fix this before we move on. They're gonna cut up Silo's pants, so I have a piece of fabric to sew on my pants. Ah, Rahmet. And since my last sewing job was such an amazing success, we're going for round 2. They saw me struggling so much, so they're going to take over for me. And I think that's a good idea. That's probably another skill that I should learn before I go to America, because in the 12 days that I've been here, I've had to sew up my pants twice, and twice I did a horrible job. I'm all set. We're now gonna water and saddle the horses, and then we're gonna go up in the mountains a bit. The horses had a rest day yesterday, so they should be full of energy again. The plan for today is to ride a bit up in the mountains, and then tonight we're coming back here and I'm going to grab my tent and camp a little bit downriver. I think the boys are joining us today. As the month progresses, you can just feel everything getting colder. Every day there's more ice floating down the river, and every day the ground is more frozen. But today is actually a pretty good day because there's no wind and the sun is shining, and that's really the thing. It doesn't matter if the temperature is very low, as long as there's no wind and there's the sun, then you don't cool down that quickly. Eleman is collecting dead leaves that have fallen from the tree, and they save this for the spring and then they feed it to the animals. It barely fits, but they made it work. Shoo! These dogs really have the most amazing life you can imagine. They can go wherever they want, whenever they want. Today, for example, they decided to follow us with the horses. And they can hunt, they eat squirrels, they eat marmots. It's just really cool. I think this is the end of our adventure. Whoa, check this out. How cool is this? Frozen waterfalls. I'm afraid though, this kind of means the end of the road for us, because I don't see us taking the horses up here, but it looks freaking cool though. Let's see if I can stand on it. Okay, there you have your answer. Hey, suck luck. Be careful, boy. When you're going uphill, you place the girth more in the middle of the belly of the horse. But when you're going downhill, you need to place it a little bit back, so the saddle doesn't slide forward. And first we went up, now we're going down, so I need to change the girth. You see, now it's placed back a little bit. We're gonna start heading back because we can't move any further, and also it will take us a couple of hours to get home, and I want to pitch my tent before it gets dark. Oh. Alright, we made it back. We just hitched the horses and now I'm going to grab a quick meal, and then I'm going to ride down the river a little bit to pitch my tent. My foot is still a bit sensitive from my fall last summer, and now I noticed that climbing those waterfalls was a bit too much because it is hurting a little bit. Aldi already unsettled the horses, so I'm just going to hike down a little bit. I got all my stuff with me, so let's see if we can find a good spot. I think this is as good a spot as any. So tonight it'll be 0 Fahrenheit or minus 18 Celsius, and to hopefully stay warm I got a shitload of layers. I got 2 thermo shirts, a sweater, 2 vests, and then this big ass coat. Then I got a merino wool liner for inside my sleeping bag and a goose down sleeping bag. So hopefully I'll stay warm, but we'll see how it goes tonight. Good morning. Even though I was wearing all these layers, I don't think I could be wearing much more. I was still barely comfortable. Only when I really curled up at night in my sleeping bag, then I would stay warm. But otherwise I was just kind of cold. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm going to take an ice dive in the river. Oh, fuck it, here we go. Ah. I'm gonna dry myself up real quick. Now that I took off my clothes, I can smell how much I actually reek. It's kind of logical since I've been wearing the same outfit for 3 weeks and my last shower was a week ago. I'm now quickly going to clean up my tent and then we're going to give all our stuff to Silo and he's going to drive it to the winter camp on the motorbike and then we're going to follow. I just put my underpants to dry on that bush. They're frozen. All right, time to leave. The next few days we'll spend high up in the mountains, so I'm very excited about that because I think the mountains are the most beautiful. I will be sleeping in my tent and Haldi will be sleeping in the winter camp. And tomorrow or the day after tomorrow we're going to be looking for mountain goats. Those are those big goats with those big horns. Hey. So as I was saying, we're going to be looking for mountain goats. Those are those big goats with those big horns. And they're supposed to be very high up in the mountains, so there probably will be a lot of snow. So we'll have to see if it's possible to find them, but at least we're going to try. So the goal for this trip was to prepare for my ride from Mexico to Canada next year. And when I think about everything that we've practiced, I think I have really learned a lot. We've practiced riding long distances, we've practiced taking care of the horses, tethering them at night. We've practiced riding through the mountains and I've camped outside in very cold weather. So yeah, I think that I'm ready when this trip is over. Today everything is uphill and I'm trying to keep up a good pace, so my horse is building up a good sweat. We just follow Saklak, he knows the way better than us. We just arrived at the winter camp. The horses are very sweaty, so we're going to give them a little rest. We have a little bit of a problem. We forgot the long ropes for the horses to tether them at night. So we need to go find a long rope. I couldn't find any rope, so we'll feed the horses some hay tonight. And then we'll ask Sila tomorrow to bring the long ropes. It's still pretty early, so we're going to give the horses half an hour rest and then we're going to ride up a bit. And in the meantime we're collecting some snow so we have water tonight. To make a fire, people here don't use wood, but they use animal dung. And that's because there are very little trees around in Mongolia, but there are a lot of animals, so there's plenty of dung lying around. And actually, it burns just as well. While the snow is melting on the fire, Haldi and I are going into the mountains to explore a little bit. I reckon we still have 3 hours before it gets dark, so... That's why I like the mountains so much. Everywhere you go, you just have an amazing view. Wow, man. That is a view to die for. It's such a surreal feeling. So high up, this view, there is no wind, none at all. It's just absolutely silent, not a sound. There's also nothing moving. It's just like the whole world stands still. Like someone pressed pause, like a movie. I come from the Netherlands and it's just such a small and crowded country. And here to be able to just go for hundreds of miles and not see anything but nature and mountains and maybe some herders. Such a crazy feeling. Silo just came by on his motorcycle and apparently 2 of his milking cows were left behind on the mountain, so we're going to help him to get him down. If you think about it, we gained a lot of altitude today because we came from the river, which is about the same altitude as the rest of that flat area that you can see. So we climbed all the way from there. And you can also see that it was heavy for the horses because they're soaking wet. So we need to make sure that they're dried up before the sun goes down. Two of those cows are the milking cows that we need to get down. But it's really hard to separate just 2 of them, so we're going to get all 4 of them down. Go! Silo just separated the 2 yaks that he needs for milking, and the other 2 stay behind to rejoin the herd. Okay, we're back. The horses did a very good job, so we're going to give them some time to dry up. I'm going to give you a little tip. It's very important that when you're riding your horses and they're very hot and sweaty, that you don't immediately take the saddle off when you're done. Because if the cold wind hits their hot back, then it gives saddle sores and you really don't want that. So what you should do is leave it on for 1 to 2 hours, loosen the girth a little bit, and then when they're cooled off, then you can take the saddle off. What's on the menu tonight, sir?
Maybe instant noodles with some meat.
Yeah, sounds good. Cooking some snow on the fire to make tea and noodles. What kind of meat is this?
Beef.
And is this also dried or is it fresh?
Yeah.
Our dinner is cooking on the fire, so that's great. It has been, I think, 1.5 hours since we hitched the horses, so it's time to give them some hay. And do they need any hay for the night, or is this enough for them to graze?
I think we put some.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Good night, boys. Ooh, what is smelling so good? Our noodles. That tastes good after a long day. Haldi's feeding the horses while I'm here in bed editing today's video. And I know I said I was going to camp out in my tent from now on, but my plan was to take my horse and to ride up to the other valley and camp out with him. Only we forgot the rope this morning, so they need to stay in the pen. But tomorrow I'll have the rope, so then I'm going to camp out with the horse. But for now I'm just very happy that I'm in my warm bed. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Today we got a mountain goat to find, so let's go. It's nice and sunny today, no wind, so perfect weather for riding through the mountains. I'm going to pay a visit to the toilet. Oh, the toilets here are just so amazing. It's 9:30 and in 15 minutes we're gonna settle the horses, but now first we're gonna have a cup of tea because it's still a bit early. Good morning, boys. Ready to go? Shoo! Shoo! I'm still so happy with this coat I bought because not only does it keep me really warm, it was very cheap and I look cool as hell. The boys are ready, we are ready, let's go! Apparently the place to spot mountain goats is behind the summer camp, which is around 2 hours away. So maybe 3 hours to get there and 3 hours to get back. This first part is a really steep climb, so my horse is already hot and breathing heavily, but from now on it should be better. This terrain is kind of hard to navigate because the snow is very deep. The horses already were up to their bellies in the snow just now. But we need to go even higher, so I'm curious to see what is going to happen today. We really climbed a lot, but now we're on top of the mountain and there is the summer camp. So I think somewhere behind that, on top of that mountain, should be mountain goats. It's very important that when you've been riding for a while through steep country that you check if everything with your saddle is still in place. For example, my saddle has shifted a little bit to the front, so I'm going to redo the girth and place the saddle a little bit back. Yeah, you can see the girth is completely loose. When the saddle slid forward, it came to the front and then the tension gets off. And see, we're going downhill now, so I placed the girth back to stop the saddle from sliding forward. There have been a couple occasions where I didn't check my saddle when I really should have, and then stuff like this happens. That's not good. Whoa! So you really don't want that, so always check your saddle. We both don't know this area that well, so we are supposed to meet up with Silo so he can guide us to the mountain goats. So right now we're looking for the meetup spot, but we haven't found it yet. Silo mentioned something about a metal house, and that's the metal house, so we should be close. We're at the meetup spot and Silo isn't here yet, so we think he couldn't make it because there was too much snow for the motorcycle. Anyway, we'll wait here for a few moments to see if he still shows up, and otherwise we are going to see if we can find it ourselves. Anyway, I don't really mind waiting here because this place is crazy beautiful. Ah, there he is, the big man. He made it. Assalamu alaikum. We spotted them. They're over there on that mountain. There are about 40 or 50 of them grazing. They're almost impossible to see because they have the exact same color as the ground. Now the only problem is getting close to them. We're now going down a bit to see if we can get a bit closer, but usually they're very scared of humans, so it will probably be very hard to get close to them. We just spotted another group on that mountain over there. They're a lot closer, but even though they're on a whole other mountain, they already noticed us and started running a bit. So I'm afraid this is the closest that we're gonna get. Hunters usually get to the same distance and then they count the rings on the horns to see how old the goats are, and they only shoot the older ones, but they have to lay down for hours to be able to count the rings and to get in the perfect shot. It's time to start heading back. It's getting a bit late and we still need to ride back for a few hours. And we're on top of the mountain again. Now we need to go down here and then we're back at the winter camp. Because we're riding through the snow, the hoofs of the horses fill up with snow and they become very slippery. And also this lump forms on the bottom of the hoof, made out of snow. So they start losing their balance. Good job, boy. So tonight I'm going to camp out with my horse and I'm going to go to this valley behind this ridge. But first I'm going to grab something to eat because I only ate a few cookies this morning and that is it. So I'm pretty hungry. Tonight I'm preparing a simple dinner because I need to be gone before the sun goes down. So It's going to be plain rice, a little bouillon for the taste. Alright, a very simple dinner. Some broth with onion, some rice with onion, but it will fill me up. I'm gonna quickly start packing because it's getting dark and then it's time to leave. I'm all packed. Time to get on the horse. Only thing is that I need to get on my horse with this big ass backpack. I'm not going too far tonight, I'm just going in the valley next to the winter camp. But still, it's my first time camping out alone with the horse, so I'm very excited. I think I'm going to pitch my tent over here. Down there is a place with some grass for the horse, so I think this spot should be okay. I know Haldi is just a few hundred meters away, but still, now when I'm alone, it's a very different feeling because suddenly I need to make my own choices. Well, my tent is pitched, so that is one thing done. Now I'm going to quickly ride back to Haldi and get my last stuff. And then I'm going to tether my horse. So I'm just back to grab my water and my last stuff and then we're going back. And we're on our way back. It's pitch black, so I can't see anything. I found my tent. I'm going to take the saddle off my horse and then bring him to the spot where he can graze. So this is where my friend will graze tonight. He has some tall grass here and some grass here. And also under the snow is some grass, so he should be fine. He's all tied up. Good night, buddy. This is my condo for tonight. Again, I have a million layers on, so hopefully I'll stay warm tonight. I feel very good camping out alone, even though it's only a few hundred meters from Haldi away. Feels very free, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning. I'm going to clean up my tent, pack all my stuff and load up my horse. Then I'm going back to Haldi. Hey, Batmash. Well, would you look at that? Yeah, that's the thing. I put my packs in last night and now the ground is frozen, so I can't get them out. Shit. Well, I got the first one out. Really, these packs suck so much. They break so easily. I think I already broke half of them since I got this tent. I think I figured out a way to get them out. You need to wiggle them. Never mind. This one broke off too. Yeah, this is kind of a problem because I do need to take down my tent. Well, I managed to get them all out. But out of the 10 packs that I used tonight, 3 didn't survive. But that's not to say that I don't like this tent though, because it sets up very easily and it cleans up very easily and it is very sturdy. Only the packs break off a little easy. Everything is cleaned up. Now time to saddle the horse and then we can go. You see this? The snow under his hooves has frozen into some kind of ice ball. And now he is standing on these balls. His hoof isn't even touching the ground anymore. Okay, so first I need to get that ice out. Only thing is that horses in the West are used to getting their feet lifted to clean out their hoofs or to shoe them. But I know that these horses are wild. And when they shoe them, they take them down because they're afraid of getting kicked. So I'm afraid that if I start touching his hoofs and start doing my thing down there, that he's going to kick me. So I'm not really sure what to do. You know, it's good that I stayed close to Haldi this first night, because I think I'm going to just walk to him, ask what to do and then come back. I'm first just going to walk down with my backpack and then come back. I just discussed with Haldi and he said it's good that you didn't touch the hoofs because that's dangerous. Just wait for the sun to rise a bit and then lead him onto a rocky place and then the snow should come loose by itself. So we're first gonna have some tea and then I'm going to get back to get my horse and walk him back here. We are having some leftover noodles from yesterday. That is a nice breakfast. I drank my tea, I ate my breakfast and the sun is a bit higher, so it's time to get my horse. The horse is saddled up. You can see that he is stumbling and he has poor balance because of the ice. So Haldi said to lead him over some rocks, that would get rid of it. So let's see if it works. Yeah, it worked. He's walking normally again. And we're on the move again. Apparently a few days back, a horse of the guy that we ate a sheep head with was eaten by the wolves. So today we're going to check that out. We were trying to spot the dead horse from up here, but we couldn't see anything. So then we were looking for some birds or vultures maybe that were eating the horse, but also nothing. So what we're going to do now, we're going to ride to those peaks and see if we can spot it from there. And we're also going to visit one of the local families to drink some tea. Still no sign of any dead horse. I'm afraid that in the United States I will never find horses that are as tough as these ones, because these are almost wild horses, so they need so little and they can endure so much. For example, I've never seen anybody brush these horses, but they're totally fine. And I think when I go to the United States I'll probably find some more domesticated horses that need a little more care. Well, there are some camels over there, but still no sign of any dead horse. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to find a dead horse, but now we're going to this family to drink some tea. This is kort, and it's basically dried yogurt, and they eat it everywhere here. So what they do, they boil yogurt and then the water evaporates, and after they put it in a mesh and squeeze it so the rest of the water is squeezed out, and then they put it on racks to let it dry in the sun and in the wind, and eventually you get this kind of rock hard cheese type of thing. It has a pretty strong taste, so you kind of have to get used to it. For centuries, people here didn't have any vegetable oil, so they make their own oil for cooking. And the way they do it is they take animal fat, in this case it's a cow, and they melt it themselves, and then they use it, for example, to fry bowersak. Pretty cool, right? We spent a couple hours here with the family, eating some lunch and drinking some tea, and now we're going back home. We just asked him about the dead horse, and he said that it had been lying around for 4 days already, so he thought it was probably already taken apart by the wildlife. So unfortunately, we're probably not going to find it. That right there must be one of the most beautiful sunsets I've ever seen. Yeah, beautiful and all, that sunset, but that also means that it's almost getting dark and we're still here on some mountain in the middle of nowhere. We made it! And just before dark too. I really don't feel like camping out in the cold tonight, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I really feel like it is good practice just getting the routine in of camping out with the horse. So I think I'm going to grab a cup of tea and then go out. It is time to go tether the horses. The horses were very sweaty today, so as I explained earlier, we left the saddle on for a couple of hours to let their backs cool down. This place is right next to the camp, and we tethered them here for 2 nights. So the grass here is already a bit eaten away. So now we're going to move a bit higher, and there should be more grass. And I still need to put up my tent. Yeah, I'm going to be hitting this pin for a few minutes. The pin is in the ground, the rope is tied up. Good night, boy. Silo and Elaman just come in here with a box full of chips and power sock and a bottle of vodka. So it's going to be a fun evening. We finished the whole bottle of vodka, but still I'm going to set up my tent and sleep outside. So here's the camp, and this is where I'm going to pitch my tent. There is really no practical reason for this. It is purely to challenge myself. It is freezing cold. My tent is set up. We're pretty well, actually. I'm lying in my tent again with 1,000 layers on. I wish you all a good night, and I see you tomorrow. I slept okay tonight. It wasn't too cold, and now I'm first going to grab a cup of tea and then I'm going to pack up my tent. Time to take down the tent. I think it is time to start changing my socks again, because some kind of crust has formed on the bottom. But yeah, what do you expect after 11 days? Oh man, this one is stuck as hell. I've been hitting it with a rock. I've been pulling it as hard as I can. I'm spending my whole morning getting pegs and pins out of frozen ground. Here he comes. Whew. The horses are saddled, so time to go. Today we're visiting the man who was our neighbor in the summer camp last summer, and we spent a lot of time with him and his family. So when he heard that I was in the area, he asked, "Hey, why haven't you come and visit us?" So today we're going to come and pay him a visit. This is Sila's herd, and I still think out of all the horses that they own, mine is the most beautiful. It's always a good idea that when you find a spot with really good grass when you're on the move, like this, that you stop for a few minutes to let the horses just have a few bites. His camp is supposed to be somewhere over at that icy part, so we're going to go down here and follow these lower mountains. We've been riding for around 3 hours, and I think we're almost there, but in another 3 hours the sun will go down and it will be very, very dark. So I'm wondering if we will ride back tonight or spend the night at Jamagat. We got a lot of angry dogs over here. Oh, poor Batmash. Okay, we think this is the house. Assalamu alaikum. Nothing tastes so good as freshly baked boursak. It's already pretty late, so we don't know for sure if we can make it back in time. And they offered us to spend the night, so we'll spend the night here. We're gonna unsaddle the horses and feed them and water them. Almost everywhere the water is frozen, but here is still a small place where the horses can drink. I think he must be pretty thirsty because he only ate snow the past 3 days. Now we're looking for a good place to let the horses graze. The horses are all set. Good night, boys. This is Tauba, he's my friend. Last summer when I was here, we spent a lot of time together. It was really fun. And now I'm back at his house, so yeah, very happy. This is one of the coolest toys I've ever seen. It's a Glock that shoots bullets, but it also ejects the shell. Look at this. I feel my inner child coming up. when doing this. This house is full of guns. Yeah, when I was young I also had so many toy guns. Here's being worked hard to get the dinner ready. Hey.
Bugün cevap verilmişliğin onda olmaz on açtan da bilgin yok bugün cevap verir.
Well, they made a nice bed for us and I am very tired, so I'm very happy that we sleep warm inside in this nice bed. So yeah, good night. See you guys tomorrow. How are you feeling this morning? Did you sleep well? I was very tired yesterday. Maybe it's because I drank a lot of vodka the day before, or because I had been sleeping out in the cold in my tent for a few days. But tonight was a very good night, so I'm very well rested and ready for this last day on the horse. We drank our tea and we had our breakfast, so now we're going to get the horses and saddle them, because we have a long way ahead of us today to get back to the autumn camp. We just spent half an hour getting that second pin out because it was really stuck, but now I think we're ready to leave. We come back and this is what I found. Poor man. And can you tell them that I wish them all the best until I get back?
Is there anything you ask them to or get from them? Anything you want to have from them?
What would be logical to take?
No, it's not like this is a traditional way.
Oh, okay, and you can just say
like,
no
just say
and
thank you. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
okay, yeah, great. Okay. No, then I'm good, of course.
Yeah, rahmet bola zaten kıstıracak. Aman atılmışlar.
Rahmet. Bye-bye. Today is our last day of riding horses already, because it's the 24th and the 26th we go back to the capital. And tomorrow we're going to visit an eagle hunter in the village, so that's pretty cool. Today we need to ride back to the winter camp first. There we're going to collect our stuff. I think it's around 3 hours to get back. And then we go back to the autumn camp, to the camp of the family. And that's another 2-3 hours maybe. So we need to ride 6 hours today. And yeah, then it's already the end. I think for the horses it's a good thing that our adventure is coming to an end, because in the past 17 days they've only had 2 rest days, and that's not an awful lot. And also the winter is coming, so they still need some time to eat grass and rest a bit and fatten up. So I think our boys did enough for us. Assalamu alaikum. I'm soaking it all in for a final time, because I think it might be quite a while before I return to Mongolia. They only ride these horses around 4 months a year during the summertime, and the rest of the year they just roam free. So after our little adventure, this guy is going back to the wilderness where he will survive with the herd on his own. I keep being amazed how fast these horses just storm up a mountainside like that. It's a heavy day for the horses, because we have to climb all the way back from the plains to the winter camp, so there's a lot of elevation difference. Yeah, he's very sweaty, and we're at that good patch of grass again, so we give them a couple of minutes to rest and eat something. You can see the steam coming off his back. We arrived back at the winter camp and we now have 30 minutes to pack all our stuff, and then we need to go and move on to the autumn camp, to the family. We just packed everything, so it's ready to be picked up with the motorcycle. And now we're going back, and this is the last stretch of our horse riding adventure. all that elevation that we just gained, we're now going to descend again because the autumn camp lays at the river. And we're back at the river again. Only a few hundred meters and then we're at the autumn camp. Hey, Saklak! Hey, well, that was that. You served me well, boy, this trip. So we're back in the get again, and it is immediately cozy because we're having a warm meal and some hot tea. Everybody's together, so I'm very happy. I just walked outside and suddenly they were slaughtering a sheep. And this is the Kazakh way of doing it because Kazakhs are Muslims, so they need all the blood to drain out. So what they do, they tie the sheep up and then they cut its throat and let it bleed out. And I believe in 10 to 15 seconds the blood pressure in the brain is so low that it isn't conscious anymore. And then it takes another 2 to 3 minutes for it to completely bleed out and stop moving. In total, this is the third sheep that I've seen them slaughter, but I'm always so surprised about how quietly it goes. I mean, they tie him up, cut the throat, and it barely moves, doesn't make any sound, it just slowly dies and the life drains out of it. But it isn't very gruesome. I mean, I would expect it to be more violent if you cut the throat of an animal, but it goes very quietly. After killing the sheep, of course, they need to take it apart. So first they take off the skin and then they hang it and start cutting it up. They waste nothing because they also eat the guts, and usually they give them to the women and then they clean them out because of course you don't want to eat the poop inside of the guts. Oh. And of course the organs that they don't eat are for Saklak. In 20 minutes the whole sheep has disappeared into this bag and is fully taken apart. They can do this so quickly. It's always tough to see, but I always think it's a good and humbling realization that in order for us to live and exist, other creatures have to die. Because it's just part of life. The horses have cooled off for a few hours, so now it's time to take the saddles off. And we end the day with a little fermented horse milk. Hey, before I forget, I want to give this one to Eleman and this one to you. I have so many at home, so if they can use them, just take them. I just gave away my 2 knives because Saila was asking about them because he really liked them and he said they are better than the ones that they got. But we ordered them from Sweden and I got a lot at home, so I said just take them. Well, that was my last day of riding horses in Mongolia. Tomorrow we're going to visit the eagle hunter in the village, which is pretty cool. And so that was my last day of riding horses in Mongolia. Tomorrow we're going to visit the eagle hunter in the village, which is pretty. I wish you all a good night and see you tomorrow. Good morning. Yesterday we were supposed to visit the eagle hunter, but his brother was supposed to take us and he didn't have reception and something went wrong and we couldn't reach him. So we're going to visit the eagle hunter on our way back today. What I did do yesterday was eat some very strange stuff. I ate sheep eyes and sheep brain. That's the eye. Tonight I'm going to try a sheep eye. Just remember that before coming here, I was vegan for 5 years. Oh man, I've eaten a lot of stuff here, but this I really am not looking forward to. I might as well try a piece of brain. Oh, sheep brain. It's very soft, but it's not great. And this morning I woke up feeling very sick. I'm kind of nauseous. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but... So this was my last night already, sleeping in the wilderness of Mongolia, because today we're driving back. So I'm going to clean up my tent, get some breakfast, pack all my stuff, and I suppose we are on our way then. This bag, this is where my dirty laundry goes. And let me tell you, it is a biohazard. Tent is all cleaned up. Now it's time to pack my stuff. Oh man, I feel bad. Oh, Rahmet. In 10 minutes we leave, so I'm quickly going to say goodbye to my horse. Goodbye, horsey.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye. Can you, thank them for all the support. It might be a while before I return, and until I see them again, that I wish them all the best. I really had a great time with them.
We will say hello to your parents. You were like one of our family for like months. Wish you all the best. Good luck on your journey in USA.
I really felt part of the family. And, it's a really special feeling to be included that way. Bye-bye. And with those kind words of Silo, we left the camp, and now it was time to drive back and visit the eagle hunter. Only on our way there, I became really sick. So sick in fact that we had to cancel our visit, which was a really big shame, but I was afraid that I was going to throw up in this man's house. Instead we just drove straight to Kuka's house, where I absolutely crashed. The next day we started driving back to the capital, but getting back was kind of a challenge, because apparently Ukraine bombed some... Apparently Ukraine bombed some fuel things in Russia, and 95% of the fuel in Mongolia comes from Russia. So there is no petrol to find in the whole country. Eventually though we managed to get back, but there was a lot of standing in line for the gas stations that actually had some gas. So it took us 3 days to get back. When I got back I spent a few days in the capital, but then it was time to fly home and say goodbye to Haldi. Hey Haldi, thank you so much for the past months. It was really a great experience and you arranged everything so well for me.
Thank you. I really appreciate you and wish you all the good luck. And keep in touch.
Yeah, I definitely will.
Even anything I can do, I can support you mentally or something.
If I have a question, maybe I'll send it to you. Yeah,
of course.
But hey. It was sad to say goodbye, but I was very excited to go home and see my mother again and dig in on some delicious junk food.
Okay.
Oh, that tastes good. That tastes good. I better eat a lot because I just looked in the mirror and I lost a ton of weight. Thank you so much for watching the final episode of my adventure in the Mongolian wilderness. I really feel like it was a great experience and the perfect preparation for my adventure in the United States. And actually, today, right now when this comes online, I'm already in America to do the final preparations for my horseback journey from the Mexican to the Canadian border. And I have to tell you guys, it is so cool here. Really, from Kazakh nomad to American cowboy, I'm experiencing it all and I cannot wait to bring you guys on this next adventure. So if you want to see that, then consider subscribing and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.